Hello and welcome to Nothing Definitive. This is a addendum, as I think that's how you say it. It's an addition to the previous video, Embracing Who You Are, which would be the video right before this one. I realized I forgot to mention a couple things, so I'm going to mention them right now. So the first one is, I mentioned that if we live in a deterministic universe, the goal essentially is to just figure out who you are. And the reason I said that was because you're essentially just here, along for the ride. If you really can't make any decisions and who you are going to end up being and the future's all kind of known and it's all based on just things that are out of your control, then what is left for us to do? And I still think I know for myself that it is still interesting to do introspective thinking and whatnot. And if I don't really have control over what career I end up and how I make money, and if I die or live to an old age or whatever, I don't have control over that, say, then what I do have or seem to have control over is that I can still think about things. I can think about who I am and what I want, and maybe there is some degree that I can steer my life in a direction that suits me or whatever. And so there was that, and then I wanted to point out a journal entry actually from another point. This was March 25th, and I guess I'll just read it quick, but we cannot control the outcomes, and thus we cannot control our own free will. If the world was not deterministic, we would do a horrible job managing it. We cannot even manage ourselves. If we're honest, I think we can all agree that how we got to where we are is not within our control. There have been a series of events we confuse as free will that have led us to this point. Imagine trying to control the outcome of a child, exposing them to just the right amount of suffering and happiness so that they could achieve some state of heightened awareness, of enlightenment, illumination. You'd probably fail, right? It seems like the harder you try and control the outcome of your kids, the more they'll end up resenting you. Some people might succeed at it and do a really great job, but statistically you'd probably fail. It just is far too complex for the human undertaking. But the journey still seems real, and that's why it's so weird that we immediately want to disregard a lack of free will or determinism, because the emotions are still real. The events and experiences are still etched in our mind. We feel pain and happiness and all that. So does it really matter if we have free will or not? Perhaps it's a mix. Perhaps we have to earn it, as I've mentioned before. As animals, we were entirely dependent on determinism and external events that completely controlled our outcomes. But through this strange phenomenon of consciousness and society, we have learned some level of free will. We have taken over the controls in small, short bursts that fling our lives into new directions. But I would imagine most of who we are and what we do is still determined by causal events and not our own decision-making. I guess I just wanted to add that on, that if we do live in a deterministic universe, the ride is still real. And because of that, because we can still enjoy the emotions and we can still seem to have our own thoughts, and sometimes it almost seems like our consciousness is almost like a separate entity from the rest of us. It always seems like the self is this separate thing. And maybe it is. Maybe we actually don't have control. Maybe we don't even control the body. Wouldn't that be weird? What if we think we control it, but it's actually an illusion? Even if that's true, the ride's still real, and we can still think about stuff. And what it comes down to is, if it's deterministic, then the only thing that we can really do and enjoy and stuff is thinking about stuff and learning about who we are and what we're doing and all that sort of stuff, and reminiscing about the past and trying to unravel different, the strategy, the journey, and whatnot. So I know this video and the last one are a bit rambly and I'm all over the place, but too bad. I felt like uploading it anyway. But if you got to this video, make sure you watch the first part. It'll probably make a little bit more sense. But yep. Thanks for watching as always. See you next time.